Hey everybody, Mr. Riedl here. So it is the Monday after spring break, and normally we would head back into our classroom and get ready for a new school week, but things are a little different. I'm going to get to go back into my classroom right now. It's 7:30 in the morning. However, we can only go in for about an hour, and then we have to go back home for another month because of the coronavirus. So it's been quite a whirlwind of events for the past 2 weeks. Actually, more than that. So let me tell you about some details. So I was journaling about everything that has happened, and I was thinking back to about a month ago when we started hearing a lot about China and the news about the outbreak with the virus that has happened in that country. And, you know, we heard on the news, we didn't think it was that big of a deal. People really weren't all that worried about it. But then when some people were diagnosed in the United States and other countries around the world, we started, perking up and listening and a lot more about it. And it was like all over the news. Then what we heard from our school district and officials in Portland and everything is that we should be very diligent to wash our hands and use hand sanitizer. And so since it was on the news and since we heard about it from the school district, I thought, hey, this is a great teaching opportunity. For those of you who don't know, I teach 6th grade science, and I'm very fascinated with viruses, and so I ended up teaching a lesson about viruses to my students. It went really well along with the curriculum, and I was already teaching them about cells and microorganisms and stuff like that. So I taught them about how viruses work, and I showed some viral videos to go with it, and talking about how viruses are kind of like viral videos and how, they're contagious and they get spread really quickly. And then I gave them my handout, and then I thought that was pretty much going to be it. Like, I thought that this was kind of going to fade out. But then since it was on the news more and more, and people were talking more and more about social distancing and making sure that we don't spread the disease, like, honestly, I didn't think it was a big deal because at this time there were not very many people dying from it. And I looked at the statistics about the flu, and I even taught my students, you guys, the flu kills, just the normal flu kills thousands of people every year. And at this point in time, I don't think it was even 100 people that have died from coronavirus. So I was just explaining to them, comparatively to the flu, it wasn't that big of a deal. But obviously the officials and the infectious disease experts knew a whole lot more than I did about what was going on in China. But anyway, hindsight is 20/20, so I definitely learned from that. At that point in time, the next week, which was 2 weeks ago, would have been parent-teacher conferences, and it would have been a half-day school week. Then it would be spring break the following week. And the school district decided, okay, because of everything that's happening, we are going to cancel in-person conferences. And then I think it was just the next day, more information came. So then the school district decided to cancel conferences completely, and the whole week of school was canceled. I think this was Friday the 13th of March, and it was already a weird day because kids were finding out that there was no school the next week, so it was like an extra week of spring break, and it was like snowing that day, so it was a very strange day, a very strange Friday the 13th in regards to the news and the weather and everything that was going on. And I thought I was going to be able to come in the next week to pick up some stuff in order to work from home. And they ended up shutting down the school. Nobody was allowed into the building. And they were like sanitizing and cleaning everything, making sure that there was no spread of any diseases or anything. And on the news, there were a lot of businesses that were closing, a lot of businesses telling their workers to work from home. A lot of restaurants were allowing people to come in just for takeout only. A lot of people started losing their jobs, and the unemployment rate skyrocketed, people filing for unemployment, and there were a lot more bans to flights out of the country. This was even before any thought of making sure that we were staying at home. So the weather in Portland was great that week. Everybody was outside. Everybody went to the beach. There was a lot of people that were, hanging out in groups and stuff like that. And that whole first week, I really wasn't all that concerned. Like the death rate of the coronavirus did not really go up a whole lot until I saw this graph. This is the death rate as of yesterday. And it is just shocking to see how much it is growing. Like, it is going up so fast. Now it's up to average flu death rate, and it's predicted to go up even more. So I think seeing this graph is something that really made me realize how much this is affecting the world as a pandemic, and definitely something to be concerned about. And then it wasn't till the week of spring break that the governor mandated everybody to stay home unless it was absolutely essential that you needed to, or if you had a job where you could exhibit social distancing between your coworkers. So all the teachers were, at home. It was already spring break, and so we got basically 2 weeks of spring break. So now that spring break is officially over, they're going to let us go back into our classroom for just 1 hour to pick up any essential items that we need in order to teach from home. So we're going to be teaching remotely, and I've never done this before, but I'm excited because I love technology and I like the challenge, and I'm not sure how it's going to go. Like, there's a lot of questions and not a whole lot of answers from everybody. And so as of now, we're going to be teaching remotely from our home for the month of April. And who knows if we're gonna go back to school for the month of May, or if school's going to be closed for the rest of the year, and we're just going to be teaching from home the rest of the year. So again, lots of questions, not very many answers. But as I go back in there, I think actually the number one thing that's on my mind is my classroom fish, Senor Pez. I haven't been able to feed him for 2 weeks, so I don't know if he's still alive or not. So basically, there are 3 chances for what's going to happen when I go in and look at him. The first prediction is that he's barely alive, and I actually looked online, and I think about 2 weeks of no food just about does it for betta fish. If he's still alive, then he's barely alive, and I'm going to take him home and try and resuscitate him. And bring him back to health. The second prediction is that maybe he's thriving and doing well because one of our custodians offered to feed him during winter break, and he's super kind and we're good friends. He speaks mostly Spanish, and he's been teaching me some Spanish, and I've been teaching him some English over the past school year, and he's a really nice guy, and he offered to feed the fish during winter break. I haven't been able to talk to him, but I'm thinking maybe he fed him during this break. But if he didn't, because maybe he wasn't allowed to or something, the third prediction is that Senor Pez is dead. So we're going to go in and find out the status of the classroom fish and see where he's at. I don't know, but let's go check him out and get the stuff we need for teaching remotely. Morning.
The thing is about, I have a poetry house at 11.
One of each of these 3?
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Oh, this is great. My custodian fed him. Oh, look at this. This is so great. Jose did a schedule of all the feedings. It ended up being just like winter break when I talked to him about feeding him over that break. He did the same thing, just the same way. He fed him every day. Oh, this is awesome. Thank you so much, Jose. He's healthy and looks like he's doing really, really well. All right, so I'm going to take you home, and you are going to spend the month of April with me and my kids. Woohoo! Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so done with that. I got the stuff I need to teach remotely from home for the next month. We'll see how that goes. But honestly, I am looking forward to it. I love technology, and I've been looking forward to helping other teachers with technology issues. I already talked to a few this morning about, from 6 feet away, obviously, about, some online digital learning that we will probably be doing. So I'm excited to help via Zoom meetings or Google Hangouts and work through this together, because honestly, there's going to be a lot of hiccups because this wasn't planned, and everybody's kind of flying by the seat of their pants, and we're just doing the best that we can for the kids that we want to learn, and we want to make sure that they're okay. Figuring out how to get technology to the students is a big obstacle too. We are a one-to-one iPad school, which is great for those students that have iPads. We're still figuring out how to get iPads to the students who don't have theirs at home, either because theirs got broken and it's being fixed, or they accidentally left it at school or whatever. But we're gonna do it one day at a time, figure things out, and tomorrow we have Zoom staff meetings, and I'm excited. We're gonna get through this challenge together, and who knows how long it'll last. But it seems like all the people involved are really doing their best to hang in there and be positive, and that's all you can hope for in a time like this. Staying positive and being hopeful that everything's gonna be okay. All right, so I'm off. Thanks for coming with me to make sure Senor Pez is okay. Thankfully, he lives on. And my kids will take good care of feeding him at home. All right, stay healthy, everybody, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Hey, guys. You want to see Senor Pez?
They're so excited.
Senor Pez. Senor Pez.
He's alive.
Senor Pez. There he is.
You see him?
Pez.
Is he in there? There he is.
Yay! Can I feed him now? I want to clean out his tank.